is Shannon, and I would love to welcome you to our October Middles art project, which is called Shifty-Eyed Mummified Mask. This is what your end product is going to look like. And you should have already picked up your take and make bag from the library. And we are going to go over the contents of what's in this bag. So these are the items that you will find in your take and make bag. You will find a paper mask. You will find several sheets of paper, one sheet of plain white computer paper, a smaller sheet of colored construction paper. Mine's orange, but yours could be a different color. Then you're going to have two pieces of cardstock. One is a long skinny piece and one is a rectangle. You're going to have a foam paintbrush, and you're going to have two cups. One is full of glue and the other is full of green paint. The last thing that you'll find in your take and make bag is a piece of elastic that you can use at the end if you want to be able to wear your mask. There are a few things that you'll need from home to also complete this project. One is you'll need a pair of scissors, you'll need a pencil, a pen would also work, and you'll need a black crayon, marker, it could be a pen, just something black that you're going to use to make the pupils of the eyes. So I'm going to use a Sharpie for that, but you could use something different. So next we're going to go through the step-by-step instructions on how to create your shifty-eyed mummified mask. So the first thing that you're going to do to create your mask is you're going to paint it. So you have green paint included in your take and make bag, and you also have a foam brush. So this is what it looks like when it's all painted. I went ahead and did that ahead of time. But you're going to go ahead and get a little bit of green paint on your brush. And I kind of started on the forehead and went down this way, kind of went around, did the nose. The areas that need a little extra paint are the edges. So like when you do the edges of the nose and in between the nose and mouth, and then when you have to go back over and do all of the edges, that I feel like takes up the most paint. So you might have to go back and fill in some little spots that still need paint when you're done. I especially needed to do that on the edges. I did not paint the inside of my mask, just the outside, but you do have enough paint to paint the inside if you choose to do so. So the paint dries fairly quickly. You want to move kind of quickly because of that. So if you have an area while you're painting that has brush marks that you don't want to show, I would go ahead and go over that spot again pretty quickly before it dries. So once you have covered your mask in paint and you're happy with how it looks, you're gonna have to make sure it's all the way dry before you start the next step, which is putting on the paper to make it look mummified. So go ahead and wait and make sure, I'd give it a good 10 minutes or so. Make sure your mask is fully dry. One thing I forgot to mention is that when I was painting, I used a scrap piece of construction paper underneath my mask so I didn't get paint on the surface. You'll see that I it was a good thing that I used this. Otherwise that paint would have been on my table. So you don't have to have construction paper. If you have some newspaper, a paper plate even, or a magazine, just something that you can put underneath your mask as you paint it so that you can protect your surface. That would be great. So go ahead and let your paint dry and we'll get ready to mummify it. All right, so your mask should be dry or about dry. You want to make sure that you rinse all the green paint out of your paintbrush and squeeze it out because we're going to use this brush to for glue to glue the mummy strips to your green part of your mask. So rinse that out really well, set that aside. That will dry while we're ripping our paper. You have a piece of plain white computer paper in your take and make bag. This is what we're going to use to rip up to make the strips to glue onto the mask to make it look like a mummy. So you're going to rip the long way, and you're going to rip it into 6 different strips, and it doesn't matter if they're completely even or not. So I'm just going to start ripping here. I just leave it right on the table and rip towards me. And see how that edge from the paper is perfect? You want it to look kind of ripped up. So I'm gonna go ahead and rip that side of my paper as well so that it's ripped up on both sides. There we go. There's one strip. To lay down there. All right. Here comes the second strip. And I'm gonna rip that off at the bottom there so it doesn't look like such a clean edge. The top two. All right, we've got 2 strips. Here comes the third. Again, I'm ripping the clean edges so that they look ripped and not super straight. All right, here comes number 4. It's very satisfying to rip paper like that. I don't know about you, but I enjoy it. All right, so now we need 2 more strips, so I'm gonna rip this last bit in half. Get the clean edges off. This one's kind of skinny, so I'm gonna try to not take too much off this edge. All right, we'll call that good enough. All right, so now you're left with 6 strips of white paper. You can put these on your mask however you like to make it how you like it to look. If you kind of want to follow what I did, I started by doing an X of strips across the forehead. So you're just gonna take your brush, you're gonna dip it in your glue. You don't want to get too much, so I take the excess off. And then I just put a little bit of glue on each end of my paper. Glue it on like this, kind of hold it in place, then let it go. So I put an X across the forehead like that, and then I went ahead and did an X across the chin. Then I put an extra piece going across this way and an extra piece down here. So once you do that and you have it the way that you like it, you kind of make sure it's nice and smooth. Then what I did is I made the strips on the mask a little bit shorter, so I ripped off the ends. So again, you can kind of play around with the white paper until you have it the way that you want it to look. So now we're going to get ready to work on the eyes. So the last part of completing your mask is to make the eyes. So for this part, you're going to need your piece of colored construction paper, both pieces of black cardstock. From home, you will need some scissors, a pencil, and some kind of black writing utensil to make the pupils of the eyes. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is to cut out some eyes out of your colored paper that are going to be about the same size as the cutouts of the eyes in your mask. So when I did this, I went ahead and took my piece of colored paper and I kind of gave myself a guide by tracing the eyes. So I pressed the paper right up against the edge so that I could get my pencil in there. And I traced the shape on both sides. So there's one side. So I'm pressing the paper up against the mask tightly so that I can get my pencil in there and trace it. And it's not perfect, and that's okay. So I've got my eyes drawn using the mask as a guide. Now I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut them out. So you'll notice that this mask has eyes that are shaped kind of like footballs. So you want the ones that you're cutting out to be that same size and shape. All right, you've got one eye. Now we're gonna cut out the other eye. And you've got more paper than what you need. So if you don't like how your first set of eyes look, you have more paper to work with, so you could always try it again. All right, I've almost got this one cut out. I don't really like the edge of that. There we go. All right, so I'm done with this, so I'm gonna set this aside. Now you're gonna use this long, skinny piece of cardstock. And these eyes are actually gonna go on here. And what I did to figure out where exactly my eyes need to go, because we have to glue them down, is I took my strip to the left of the mask is where you're going to want the excess. So I lined up the other side of my strip against the inside of the mask, and I'm kind of just holding it here. All right. Then where my eyeballs are, I'm taking my pencil and I'm marking X's where my eyeballs are, and that way I'll know where to glue my orange eyeballs on. Okay, so I've got my marks right here. I'm gonna put my eyeballs over the marks. So that's my guide, so I know where they go. I need my glue and my brush. I'm gonna go ahead and get a little bit of glue. Spread it right on the back of my eye here. Glue that one down. There's one. Do the same thing for the other eye. Go ahead and put glue on the back. I got a little bit of glue on my strip. That's okay. You can just kind of wipe it off. And there I've got my other eye. And I've got that glued down. All right, so we're done with the glue momentarily. We're gonna put that off to the side for now. Now what you're gonna wanna do is make pupils, and that's the black part on the inside of your eye. So I'm gonna use a Sharpie, and I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of right in the middle, I'm gonna draw a little black circle, and those are the pupils for my eyes. All right, now we need to affix this strip of paper to the mask so that we can move it back and forth so that the eyes move. So to do that, we're gonna, oh, how did this work? Okay, there we go. We've got the excess of the black strip to the right side of the mask, and then you've got the other side lined up to the edge of the inside of the mask. So that's how we're gonna attach this so that the eyes are over the eye cutouts of the mask. So the next thing that you're gonna do, I'm just gonna set this aside right now. The next thing that you're gonna do is you're gonna take your rectangular piece of black cardstock and you're gonna cut 2 strips about an inch or so, I'd say about like this. And these are gonna be what go over this strip and get glued on the back of the mask. So there's one for one side. And we're cutting it the long way across. Oops, that just flew out of my frame, so let me cut another one. So you're gonna have 2 strips that look like this. And what's gonna happen is when you're finished, you're gonna put these 2 strips across this long strip, and you're gonna glue down just the ends of this strip. You don't want to put any glue in the middle right here because this needs to be able to slide back and forth. That's what makes your eyes move back and forth. So you're gonna take your glue and you're gonna line this up so that your colored eyeballs are in the eye cutouts. You're gonna go ahead and press this down so it's close, and then you're gonna put glue just on this part and just on this part. You're gonna do that to the other side as well. Make sure this is lined up. So then that's gonna look like that, and you're gonna glue down just this part and just this part. Then you're gonna end up with a long strip that goes in between these 2 strips going the other way. So what you're gonna do with the excess that you have is you're gonna fold it over, press it down and fold it, and then you're gonna be able to move this piece back and forth so that the eyes go back and forth as well. So there you have it. You have made your Shifty-Eyed Mummified mask. You'll notice that a piece of elastic came in your take and make bag. If you want to be able to wear your mask, see how there's these little holes in the side of your mask? You're going to, if you're a little bit younger, you might want to have a grown-up help you with this. You're going to thread this elastic through the holes on each side of your mask. And as you can see, I'm having trouble. Almost got it. There we go. There we go. So you're going to thread that part in, and then you're going to thread in the part on the other side. Helps to be patient. Sometimes you've got to try things a couple times before they work. All right, so see how you have this part now in the middle? This is stretchy, so you're going to be able to stretch this and put it over your face, but you're going to want to knot it on each side so that doesn't move. So I'm going to kind of use my finger and tie it around my finger here, hopefully. All right, see how we're getting a knot there? There's a knot on one side. And that made my other side come out. There we go. I'm going to tie this part around my finger on this side. There we go. And once you have it knotted, it should stay. Oh, it didn't. Well, you're gonna want to mess around with this and tie it tightly on each side so it doesn't come out. Or you could even put a little bit of glue down and glue it down so that it doesn't move. And then you'll be able to attach this to your face if you want to wear it as a mask. So there you have it. There's your Shifty-Eyed Mummified mask. Good job making this. I hope you have lots of fun and spooking people this Halloween season with your mummified mask. I hope you had so much fun making your Shifty-Eyed Mummified mask. Thanks so much for joining me today. I would love to see your finished product. So if you could take a picture of it and send it to the email address that's at the bottom of your screen, I cannot wait to see what you came up with. Thanks so much. See you next month.